Experience? Education? Training? Who needs any of that stuff?
No, I'm not a licensed teacher, but I have been touched by your kids.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 movie characters who are unqualified to do their jobs. Before we begin, we publish new videos every day, so be sure to subscribe for more great content. For this list, we're looking at movie characters that were uneducated, untrained, or otherwise inexperienced for the careers they took on.
My name's Stanley Goodspeed. I'm a chemical weapons specialist for the FBI.
We're not judging how well they performed these jobs. In fact, in many cases, they're better than trained professionals. We're just looking at how prepared they were for their work.
If you don't know how to do your job by now, I am not about to do it for you.
Number 10, William Miller, Almost Famous.
I'm getting good stuff out here.
Sometimes people are underqualified for a job, but they get the position thanks to perseverance and enthusiasm. In other cases, people can land a job by flat out lying about their qualifications, or more simply, their age.
What's your background, William? You a journalism major?
Yeah.
However, a 15-year-old following an up-and-coming rock band around the country for Rolling Stone is likely a recipe for disaster, if not a full-blown missing persons case. William Miller, played by Patrick Fugit, is undeniably intelligent, a great writer, and clearly displays mature taste in music for his age.
I really love your band. I think the song Fever Dog is a big step forward for you guys. And you guys producing it yourselves instead of Glyn Johns. That was the right thing to do.
However, he also can't grow a beard, and even by early 1970s standards, is way too young to be exposed to the full-blown party lifestyle of rock stars.
No. I'll only miss one test. I'll be back for graduation.
Tell her you're a slave to the groove. You can't help it.
Number 9, Winston Zeddemore, Ghostbusters.
Ray, when someone asks you if you're a god, you say yes!
Fun fact, Winston was originally written as a former Marine with not one, but multiple degrees and a PhD under his belt. Unfortunately, it was decided that the fourth Ghostbuster needed to fill the everyman role in the film.
Do you believe in UFOs, astral projections, mental telepathy, ESP, clairvoyance, spirit photography, telekinetic movement, full trance mediums, the Loch Ness Monster, and the theory of Atlantis?
If there's a steady paycheck in it, I'll believe anything you say.
This meant that amid all the scientific mumbo-jumbo being spouted by the three scientists, there would be someone to represent the audience's need for simplified explanations. As a result, Winston lost his backstory, and instead became the likable man who was just looking for a paycheck.
No offense, but I gotta get my own lawyer.
Honestly, none of the Ghostbusters seems qualified to be handling equipment with such potentially devastating effects, but Winston is hands down the least suitable of the bunch.
This job is definitely not worth $11,500 a year.
Number 8, Alfredo Linguini, Ratatouille.
Now, who is that?
Oh, him? He's nobody.
If only life were as simple as Ratatouille. Do you dream of working as a neurosurgeon, astronaut, or architect? But not only do you have zero formal training in the field, you're also particularly bad at it? Just find a rat with an uncanny knack for the profession, put him under your hat, and have him control you like a giant marionette.
That was close.
You okay up there?
Linguini is pretty much the worst cook to ever set foot in Gusto's restaurant. And if it weren't for his little buddy Remy, he'd still be the garbage boy. Linguini's father may have been a world-famous chef, but his impressively bad instincts when it comes to cooking show that some things simply cannot be passed down genetically.
I'd love to have a little talk with you, Linguini, in my office.
Am I in trouble?
Trouble? No.
Number 7, Stanley Goodspeed, The Rock.
I love pressure. I eat it for breakfast.
Hollywood's got a soft spot for the zero to hero character arc. Sure, Stanley Goodspeed is a respected scientist, and he's no stranger to danger, given that he's the leading chemical weapons expert for the FBI. But when it comes to armed combat, he's as big of a zero as you can find. And there isn't a training montage in the world good enough to make us believe he can take down a team of rogue Marines.
Let's see, we have some dirty magazines, Stone Age cave girls in the raw.
These aren't your run-of-the-mill minimum wage henchmen hired to function as cannon fodder. These guys are elite killing machines. But miraculously, this lab rat somehow becomes proficient in armed combat and stealth tactics in the nick of time.
Well, I'm one of those fortunate people who like my job, sir.
Number 6, Billy Ray Valentine, Trading Places.
Right there, he looked just like the he looks just like the gentleman that had me busted.
This role, originally written for Richard Pryor, went on to earn Eddie Murphy much praise from critics.
That's called the quarter blood technique. You do that, a quarter blood will drop out of a person's body.
As part of a nature versus nurture bet, a poor hustler from the streets of Philadelphia, Billy Ray Valentine, and the managing director of a brokerage firm switch places. As you can imagine, hilarity ensues. But surprisingly, Billy rises to the occasion and somehow manages to prosper in his new position.
I can think of 3 real good reasons why you shouldn't do something like that, George. 1, the Russian wheat harvest isn't gonna be as bad as everybody thinks.
We can believe his street smarts and hustling skills translate well to the business world, but he is unbelievably inexperienced to be successfully working in stocks. Eddie Murphy himself admitted to staying totally on script for the final stock market scene, as he found the technical stock-related stuff confusing.
Lewis bet me that we couldn't both get rich and put you all in the poorhouse at the same time. He didn't think we could do it. I won.
Number 5, Jake Sully, Avatar.
So, well, here I am.
The list of ways in which Jake Sully defies expectations as an operator of a Na'vi-human hybrid is lengthy.
How much have you logged?
Zip. But I read a manual.
Tell me you're joking.
First off, most of the scientist drivers undergo extensive training to become comfortable controlling one of these bodies. Not only does he become comfortable within minutes of taking control, he also displays unparalleled control of the motor functions. And that's just the start.
Jake, you have to come
Jake, excuse me.
Before long, he's proving himself to be an almost more dexterous Na'vi than native Na'vi warriors. He even goes on to woo the woman who originally was going to shoot an arrow through the back of his head. Either Jake is very good at role-playing, or he's the luckiest paraplegic in the galaxy.
There's no such thing as an ex-Marine. You may be out, but you never lose the attitude.
Number 4, Erin Brockovich, Erin Brockovich.
So before you come back here with another lame-ass offer, I want you to think real hard about what your spine is worth.
This is a bit of an odd one. Why? Because, as unqualified as Erin Brockovich may have been, it's based on a true story. And the real Erin Brockovich was no less impressive than her on-screen representation, as played by Julia Roberts.
I want you to know something, Ed. It is not about the number. It is about the way my work is valued in this firm.
Erin Brockovich's own website calls the movie 98% accurate. An unemployed mother of 3 loses her court case after being injured in an accident and begins working at her lawyer's office to make ends meet. In her clerical work, she uncovers information that results in a massive class action lawsuit. A lawsuit in which, despite a complete lack of formal education, she plays an instrumental role in running.
Seeing as how I have no brains or legal expertise, and Ed here was losing all faith in the system, am I right?
Oh, yeah, completely no faith, no faith.
I just went up there and performed sexual favors. 634 blowjobs in 5 days.
Unqualified? Definitely. But more importantly, unbelievably impressive.
For the first time in my life, I got people respecting me.
Number 3, Dewey Finn, School of Rock.
So how's this gonna work? Are you gonna pay me up front?
I don't understand.
It'd be really great if I could get paid now in cash.
We've all had to suffer through some high school teachers who seemed seriously unqualified. In all fairness, they probably were qualified, just painfully boring. Boring is one thing that Dewey Finn most certainly is not. But he's without a doubt unqualified to teach.
All right, look, here's the deal. I've got a hangover. Who knows what that means?
Doesn't that mean you're drunk?
First of all, he's not actually a substitute teacher. In fact, he's committing identity fraud by taking his roommate's identity. Then, as if to confirm just how unqualified he is, he proceeds to pretty much ignore the school's regular curriculum in favor of teaching the kids to be an awesome rock band.
There's a guitar pick, and you pluck along with me, okay? If you can.
It may be one of Jack Black's best roles, but in real life, the idea of a grown man impersonating a teacher and sneaking into a school is pretty unnerving.
I pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance.
To the band.
To the band.
Of Mr. Schneebly.
Of Mr. Schneebly.
Number 2, The Drillers, Armageddon.
How you feeling? Good, you know? I mean, considering I've never been this scared in my entire life,
Let's be clear. We aren't saying that deep-sea oil drillers aren't skilled. It seems like grueling work that requires a strong hand and plenty of experience. But you've got to be crazy to think that it's easier to train drillers to be competent astronauts than to train astronauts to be drillers.
Why do I do this? Because the money's good, the scenery changes, and they let me use explosives, okay?
Astronauts have plenty of experience with complex, sensitive machinery. They also have the advantage of being comfortable working in space. Once again, why choose to put competent people into realistic roles in the plot of your film when you've got the classic Hollywood fallback, a training montage?
Neil Armstrong, 1969, bouncing on the moon. He's bouncing because there's less gravity up there than on Earth.
An unconventional hiring choice is one thing, but not with the fate of the world resting in their hands.
That's your daddy.
And may we all, citizens the world over, see these events through. Godspeed and good luck to you.
Before we unveil our number one pick, here are some honorable mentions.
But I never liked the Galacticons. You only get one robot, and they don't come with a vehicle.
Dave, the country is sick.
And you're gonna get it to the hospital.
And then I take my naughty pet and I go. Oh!
Number 1. Frank Abagnale Jr. Catch Me If You Can.
From 1964 to 1967, I successfully impersonated an airline pilot for Pan Am Airways, and I flew over 2 million miles for free. During that time, I was also the chief resident pediatrician at a Georgia hospital.
We've seen some unqualified characters, but no one has so actively sought out positions for which they are painfully unqualified as the teenaged Frank Abagnale Jr., who also happens to be a con artist and impersonator.
My name's Alan, Barry Allen, United States Secret Service. Your boy just tried to jump out the window. My partner has him in custody.
I don't know what you're talking about.
He's an impressive man, to be honest. And what's the harm in a con if no one gets hurt? Well, unfortunately, his lofty ambitions did put people in harm's way. He started simple, impersonating a teacher, but then moved on to positions only held by highly skilled professionals. As a pilot, he could have killed countless passengers. As a doctor, people trusted him with their health. As a prosecutor, he actually passed the bar exam, which just adds to this already unbelievable true story.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this is irrefutable evidence that the defendant is in fact lying.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out these other great clips from WatchMojo and subscribe for new videos every day.